Picking your first DAW can kind of be like choosing your first starter Pokemon. You have FL, Ableton, Logic, those are the most popular ones. Each has a very unique strength, but if you pick the wrong one, it could make your whole journey take a lot longer than you probably like. What's going on, guys? My name's Jay Will, and I've been producing music for about 7 to 8 years now, and I've earned over $500,000 through sync licensing, landing tracks on TV shows, movies, and ad placements. But I wasn't always sure which DAW to pick when I first started out. So in this video, we're going to compare the DAWs with the OG Gen 1 Pokemon starters. But before we actually talk about these DAWs, I want you to think about these questions. Which genres of music do you actually want to create? Am I recording live instruments versus using virtual ones? Do I like recording myself on vocals, guitar, maybe a full band? Am I into sound design, or do I need to print out sheet music from time to time? The answers to those questions will help you choose which DAW truly fits your workflow. First up, we got FL Studio, which is probably Charmander. It's super popular among beginners, just like the video game, because of how it looks as you become more adept at the program. They just introduced FL Cloud, which offers AI-powered mastering and a ton of different samples, and recently revamped the whole interface, which makes finding the plugins a lot easier. From a producer's perspective, it has an excellent drum sequencer, a huge library of community tutorials on YouTube, and lifetime free updates, so you're not paying repeatedly for the program. Cons, on the other hand, it's not necessarily considered a serious live audio recording tool, so you might need extra paid plugins to get that pro level mixing you might need done. Recording and copied vocals or a live band can be kind of clunky compared to other DAWs. As you can see here, this is what the cost for FL starts with, depending on the edition. If you're really into making pattern-based workflows, EDM, hip-hop, Charmander is definitely your fire starter. Now we got Ableton Live, which I think is more of the water-based starter Squirtle. In the games, he was super adaptable and actually gave you an edge early in the game. I think this works out well if you're a musician that used to play instruments before you got into production, because Ableton's good for studio work and live performance, which makes you super adept as you get to master the program. On their newest update, they added real-time pitch correction and MIDI generative tools that constantly help new ideas keep flowing like water. The session view is its biggest pro because it's fantastic for loop-based production. It's got a new drum sampler that helps beat creation and is great at warping different samples. The cons, though, is that young price. The interface is a bit unfamiliar compared to other linear DAWs. For an artist, you can't actually record your full band very easily. It's still technically behind some of the DAWs that are more recording focused. But if you want fluidity and you do live performances often, this is the DAW for you. Last but definitely not least, we have Logic Pro, which I think is Bulbasaur because it's a well-rounded option. Logic Pro improves things like having a realistic sounding session player right inside your computer. You get solid stock instruments. The interface is really intuitive, and when you're mixing and mastering, it still feels like a board. I actually started out on Logic. The cons, though, is that if you do not have a Macintosh computer, you can't use it, and it sometimes eats up a lot of CPU on huge projects. But from an artist perspective, it's absolutely peak for comping and recording vocal stacks, instruments, all that kind of stuff. The cost is $199 flat fee, no subscription, which is nice. So if you want a balanced, no-fuss Mac solution, Bulbasaur is your best bet. All these DAWs have fairly similar exporting settings, and if you ever need a deeper dive on how exactly that formatting looks for sync licensing, whether that be arrangement or those broadcast standards, we cover it all inside of our private community, the Sync Alliance. Shameless plug. So here are our choices. If you want something ultra customizable, though, there's some mystery Pokemon that are still really cool options for you. For instance, I think Reaper is kind of like Mew because it's super budget friendly and adaptable for all kinds of different situations, but the learner's curve is extremely high. Coming up second on our honorable mention is Pro Tools. I relate this to the OG Mewtwo. He's got his own movie and feels like he's industry standard. Best thing I could probably say about Pro Tools is that it's recording friendly, especially for large studios and advanced mixing. But beware, because you don't own the DAW, they only have a subscription fee now. Learning curve is a little bit hard too. So there's the lowdown on choosing your first starter DAW, but even with the perfect DAW, your music can sound lifeless if your instruments don't feel real because they're missing that pro level sound. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to make MIDI horns sound just as realistic as live brass in a really expensive sounding recording studio.